في الساعات الأولى من صباح يوم الأربعاء 29 من يوليو تموز عام 1981 شهد العالم بداية مراسم أشهر حفل زفاف في تاريخ البشرية بأسرها. لكن قبل 24 ساعة فقط من حفل الزفاف الأسطوري للأميرة ديانا وزوجها الأمير تشارلز، وتحديدا صباح يوم الثلاثاء 28 من يوليو تموز من العام نفسه، أجرى التلفزيون البريطاني ثاني لقاء صحفي مع الأمير تشارلز وخطيبته السيدة ديانا سبنسر. قبل ذلك ببضعة شهور أعلنت خطبتهما رسميا في 24 من فبراير شباط عام 81، ومنذ ذلك الحين قامت تشارلز وديانا ببعض السفريات، والتقيا بأشخاص كثيرين في أماكن مختلفة حول العالم. فكيف كانت ردود الفعل التي واجهتها السيدة ديانا سبنسر بخصوص زواجها من الأمير تشارلز؟ وعلى الرغم من أن أول سؤال من المحاور كان موجها بوضوح إلى الأميرة ديانا، فقد أسرع الأمير تشارلز بالرد، وكأن السؤال موجه له وليس للأميرة ديانا.
The most overwhelming and touching reactions as far as we've been concerned. I of course went to New Zealand and Australia and Venezuela and then America on the way back. This was in April, May, and there people were amazingly friendly and enthusiastic. And since then, all the times I've been around different parts of the country here, the reaction has been literally fantastic. And I've never seen so many people around and such friendliness and overwhelming sort of generosity and endless cards and presents. And just, I think, the most marvellous, warm, affectionate reaction, which I just find incredibly touching.
والآن حان دور الأميرة ديانا لتخبرنا كيف كان رد فعلها على هذا الاستقبال الرائع والودود بشكل مدهش، لا سيما أن لقاء الكثير من الناس لا يزال جديدا بالنسبة لها.
Tremendous boost and just a mass of smiling faces. It's wonderful.
Quite emotional too.
Oh, very, very is.
وربما ما لا يعرفه البعض أن الأميرين تلقيا الآلاف من الهدايا والرسائل البريدية كنوع من مشاركة الآلاف من الناس حول العالم في مباركة زفافهما المرتقب آنذاك. فكيف تعامل الأمير تشارلز تجاه احتفال من ذلك النوع؟
Not so personally involved, but I try to make sure I'm informed of what's going on. The difficulty is there is so much coming in terms of mail and presents and so on, that it's very hard to keep up, particularly when you try to dash about the country as well. But I mean, already this week alone, I think there have been 25,000 letters, and it's averaged 15,000 letters for the last 4 weeks. And I think roughly since we got engaged, there's been about 100,000 letters, which, I mean, I wanted to be able to take the opportunity to say how really, really grateful we are for such, I mean, incredible kindness. I can't get over it. And I think there have been, what now, something like over 3,000 presents. And I looked this morning, and there's a corridor stacked with, I don't know, 40 sacks full of presents and mail still, which we can't get through. And, I mean, it's incredible.
ومع ذلك، ورغم هذا الكم الهائل من الرسائل البريدية والهدايا، فلا بد أن الأميرة ديانا والأمير تشارلز تمكنا بنفسيهما من إلقاء نظرة على بعضها. فهل كان هناك أي شيء منها أثر في أي منهما بشكل خاص؟
Well, for me, all the things that come from children who've obviously spent hours of work on paintings, pictures, cards, anything like that, and things they've baked at home. It's wonderful.
Baked?
Oh, yes.
Have you had cakes?
Yes. There's so many Smarties, you can hardly see them what it is. And it's lovely. Really nice.
You had a very special collage from the children at the kindergarten.
Yes, I collected it last Friday when I went to the end-of-term party, which I ended up being battered and bruised. And there's so many children crawling on top of me. But they presented me with that and a glass representing young England. It was lovely, really nice.
Super. What does it actually show on the collage?
Well, it's the firework display that's going to happen on Tuesday. The one I'm not going to.
Why is that?
Because I'm going to be tucked up in bed, I think, early night.
Not allowed to see me anyway the night before.
Well, no.
We might
Even by
quarrel.
the light of an exploding
Right.
firework.
Collage is obviously going to bring an awful lot of happy memories for you, isn't
Yes.
it, of the days there?
It is, because they were wonderful to me, the staff especially, putting up with the media for such a long time.
الليدي ديانا سليلة عائلة سبنسر العريقة، وربما ما لا يعرفه البعض أنها هي والأميرة تشارلز أبناء عمومة واحدة من الدرجة السابعة، عن طريق والدته الملكة إليزابيث الثانية ووالدها السير إدوارد جون سبنسر، حيث يلتقي نسبهما في جدهما الأكبر السير ويليام كافنديش وزوجته السيدة كاترين هوسكنز. ورغم ذلك لم تكن ديانا مجرد سيدة أرستقراطية مرفهة، بل أرادت العيش كفتاة بريطانية عادية جدا. وبعد أن أنهت دراستها في مدرسة وستهيث للبنات في بلدة سيفينوكس بمقاطعة كنت، حيث كانت في 16 من عمرها، التحقت بمعهد ألبن في ديمانت في بلدة روجمونت السويسرية لمدة فصل دراسي واحد، وتركته بعد فصل عيد الفصح عام 78. وهو معهد متخصص لتعليم الفتيات التزلج والطبخ والخياطة واللغة الفرنسية. وفي الوقت نفسه عملت ديانا لمدة 3 أشهر مربية لطفلة تدعى ألكسندرا، وهي ابنة ميجر جيرمي ويتيكر وزوجته فيليبا، وذلك في منزلهما الريفي بمقاطعة هامبشاير جنوب إنجلترا. ثم عادت ديانا إلى لندن، حيث أقامت في شقة والدتها برفقة صديقتين من أصدقائها في المدرسة. وحصلت ديانا على دورة طبخ متقدمة، وشغلت سلسلة من الوظائف منخفضة الأجر، كما عملت مضيفة في الحفلات، وأمضت وقتا تعمل مربية أطفال لدى عائلة روبرتسون، وهي عائلة أمريكية تعيش في لندن. وعملت مدرسا مساعدا في روضة الأطفال في مدرسة يونغ إنجلاند في حي بيمليكو بالعاصمة البريطانية لندن.
Well, it was through friends. I wanted to teach children, and they said, why not come along? So I first started off doing afternoons, and then I took over the mornings and did whole days. But I only worked 3 days a week at kindergarten, and the other 2 I looked after American baby boy, which nobody seems to realise. It was very special to me.
لا بد أن حفل الزفاف الأسطوري كان يتطلب قدرا كبيرا من التخطيط والتحضير، وكثيرا من العمل والتفاصيل التي لا تزال قابعة وراء الكواليس. فإلى أي مدى شارك الأمير تشارلز والأميرة ديانا شخصيا في ذلك؟
Well, we both tried to be very much involved. I mean, wedding presents, thanking them, or signing letters or something like that. But I mean, there's so much coming in, it's very difficult to keep up with it all.
A lot of work going on here at the palace.
Oh yes, and all these people who've organised the wedding at a larger scale than usual is tremendous, really is.
ولكن هل هناك ما هو أكثر من ذلك؟ فعلى سبيل المثال، هل كان للزوجين الملكيين دور ما في اختيار موسيقى حفل زفافهما المرتقب؟
The other thing is I've always longed to have a musical wedding, and one of the reasons, fortunately anyway, we both love St Paul's, which was, thank goodness, a good start. But I particularly wanted to be married to St Paul's was because I think that, musically speaking, it is such a magnificent setting, and the whole acoustics is so spectacular, with a 10 or 11 second sort of after sound, after note. And so I've taken a lot of interest in that, and actually in the whole thing. And I very much wanted to take a hand in the organisation from the very beginning. And I've had great fun organising the music, with a great deal of help from the director of the Royal College of Music, Sir David Wilcox, who I've known for some years, through the Bach Choir, which I'm president of, and he runs. So we've had a marvellous time getting together 3 orchestras that I'm patron of, and the Bach Choir that I'm president of. And also, very exciting, that Kirito Kanuma, the Maori opera singer, is prepared to sing in the cathedral. So I can't wait for the whole thing. I want everybody to come out, having had a marvellous musical and emotional experience. But it's you see, I think the thing which is very important with a big cathedral and a long aisle, and you said minutes.
Something like that.
To walk up, you want something very stirring and dramatic and noisy to carry you up. Because if you have something rather quiet, you start hearing your ankles cricking, you know what I mean? And it's much more difficult to walk without something very sort of stirring. So this is what we tried to find, was stirring things.
You're not worried about that 3.5-minute walk?
No, I go along with everybody else.
Did you choose any of the hymns yourself, any of the music?
The one here, My Verity in My Country, which has always been my favourite since school days.
Do you have a favourite hymn or psalm?
Yes, well, the one I chose was Christ has made the sure foundation, which has got the most marvellous harmony. I find it very moving. So I shall, I think, spend half the time in tears.
على الرغم من أنه أحد أهم الحفلات الرسمية في بريطانيا منذ عقود، إن لم يكن أهمها على الإطلاق، فإن حفلات الزفاف تتصف عادة بأنها عائلية وشخصية أيضا. فهل تمكنت الأميرة ديانا والأمير تشارلز من وضع أي لمسات شخصية صغيرة باعتباره يوما مميزا بصفة شخصية لكل منهما؟
Have we been able to put any small personal touches?
I think by inviting one's friends and all people who've helped us.
It must have been enormous fun actually putting together a guest list of
Yes.
people.
Well, I don't know. Because if you have a certain amount, you have to sort of take a few people out or whatever. It's been quite difficult on my side anyway.
But I very much wanted, from my point of view, to have as many people who I've known in the Navy and university and the Air Force and everybody I've been involved with for the last, 20 years, literally, in school. All the marvelous people who looked after me at these different places. And to try and remember everybody has been an absolute nightmare, hasn't it? And suddenly, even now, I suddenly remember somebody that I tried hard to remember but didn't. And I hope we've got most people.
وبغض النظر عن ضيوف الحفل، فمع هذا الكم الهائل من الهدايا كان لدى ديانا وتشارلز قائمة تدرج بها الهدايا الجميلة بالنسبة لهما. فهل اجتمع الزوجان الجديدان على تقرير ما سيدرج في هذه القائمة؟
It was me. I had great fun going around. And my list's completely empty. It's all come to us. It's marvellous. Yes.
So I'm going to get stuck with 2 toasters or something like
Well, I
that.
don't know about that. We've got 2 houses to fill, so I've been busily writing thank you letters to various people.
ولأجل الزفاف الملكي الأسطوري المرتقب آنذاك، فقد أنشئت خصيصا منصة بكاتدرائية القديس بولس، حيث سيقدم كل من الزوجين الملكيين عهوده إلى الآخر، بحيث يمكن أن يشعر أنهما وحدهما في هذه اللحظة الفريدة والأكثر أهمية على المستوى الشخصي لأي عروسين. فهل صار الأمر كذلك بالنسبة لهما، على الرغم من علمهما بأن عيون العالم تراقبهما عن كثب في تلك اللحظة المهمة والخاصة جدا؟
I hope so, yes. I don't know about Diana, but I'm more used to it, I think, probably now, knowing for years that the camera's poking at you from every quarter and recording every twitch you make. So you can get used to a certain extent, and on those occasions you accept that that's part of it. And I think if you don't try to work out in your own mind some kind of method for existing and surviving this kind of thing, you would go mad, I think. And so, in the end, you do get used to it, but I don't know, do you find that after the last 6 months you're beginning to get used to it?
Just.
It is, I suppose, one of the most important things you're going to have to adjust to, really, isn't it?
Of course, yes.
And Prince Charles has been a great help to you in that way.
Marvellous. Oh, tower of strength.
Gracious.
I had to say that because you're sitting there.
I'm sure you would anyway.
بالتأكيد بمجرد توقيع وثيقة الزواج الرسمية الملكية، صارت ديانا سبنسر تحظى بلقب أميرة ويلز، باعتبارها زوجة الأمير تشارلز أمير ويلز، منذ تقلده هذا المنصب في 26 من يوليو تموز عام 58. إذن ما الذي كانت تتطلع إليه ديانا وقتها من حيث دورها الجديد في ظل هذا المنصب الرسمي؟
Well, I very much look forward to going to Wales and meeting everybody, but my life will be a great challenge.
Do you have any particular interests?
Well, obviously it's children, but interest will broaden as the years go on. So I'm 20, I've got a good start.
going to Wales, but you don't plan to learn Welsh like
Oh yes,
Prince of
I'm
Wales.
sure I should pick up a few words.
ربما تغيب عن البعض حقيقة أن منصب الأمير والأميرة في بريطانيا ليس من المناصب الشكلية، وإنما من المناصب الرسمية التي تقع على عاتقها واجبات عامة معينة في الحدود التي ينظمها القانون الدستوري البريطاني غير المكتوب والمتعارف عليه منذ مئات السنين. فهل يتعين على الأميرين تشارلز وديانا أداء واجباتهما العامة معا، أم سيؤدي كل منهما واجباته بشكل منفرد؟
But I think quite a lot will be joint, obviously, and certainly to begin with. And I think obviously when we go abroad, they'll be joint. But I think that as Diana begins to do various things or gets involved in the children's things, that very often you get many more invitations, you meet more people, you suddenly find areas or things that you think, my goodness, I'd like to do something about improving things here or encouraging there. And after a bit you develop your own sphere, I think, and this is what I found, because I was about 20 when I was launched onto the scene. And you do start to build these things up, but I think to start with we will, don't you think, do quite a lot together.
ولكن مع كل تلك المسؤوليات والواجبات العامة التي سيتحملها كل منهما، فهل يكون لديهما وقت كاف لحياتهما الخاصة لبناء منزل وإدارته مثل ما يفعل أي زوجين من الأزواج الشباب؟
Are you looking forward to making a home at Highgrove, for example?
Oh yes, very much so. Looking forward to being a good wife.
Are you a good cook, by the way?
I have done cooking course, yes. I don't think I'm average, but you haven't tasted anything because I won't let you.
But I think you're absolutely right. It is the most difficult thing, I think, is trying to work out how you can have a family life as well as all the public demands that there are. I mean, I tend to lead a sort of idiotic existence of trying to get involved in too many things, dashing about. And this is going to be my problem, is trying to sort of control myself and you know, work out something so that we can have a proper family life. It isn't easy. There's so much to be done, you know.
Did you find the glare of publicity intruded into your own childhood?
Oh yes, inevitably a bit. But it's, when you're a child, it doesn't mean nearly so much. You don't notice it until that awful moment when you sort of drop into adolescence, and then everything becomes you become more aware of everything. But you probably remember that. But until you've left that unself-conscious stage as a child, you don't really notice anything. Slightly getting away from the point, which I did want to re-emphasize, which was that we just wanted this particular opportunity to say to everybody who's been so kind and generous and marvellous that we are deeply, deeply grateful, and can't say how grateful we are, really, and that we just look forward to being able to do as much as we can to help in this country and elsewhere in the Commonwealth.
والآن وبعد أن ارتدت ديانا سبنسر خاتم خطبتها الذي اختارته بنفسها، وبمجرد إتمام مراسم الزواج، بالطبع لن يكون الأمير تشارلز بمفرده أمام ما يقع على عاتقه من الواجبات العامة، حيث ستكون زوجته الأميرة ديانا إلى جانبه، ولا شك أن هذا سيحدث فرقا كبيرا بالنسبة إليه.
إذا أعجبك الفيديو لا تنسى الإعجاب والاشتراك بالقناة وتفعيل جرس الإشعارات ليصلك كل جديد.